everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I think we are going to give it just a minute or so, and then I will jump in and go ahead and get us started. In the meantime, if you'd like to drop your name, organization, and maybe your role into the chat, and we'd like to know you all a little bit better and see who's in our audience today. All right. In the interest of time, I'm going to go ahead and get us started. People will continue to join though. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Haley Bell. I'm the training program manager with Telehealth Rocks. I'm super excited to get to facilitate today's session. We're all very happy that you guys are here for the 8th session of our Echo-like training series, supporting the whole child, connecting brain health systems and practice. Next slide, please. So before we jump in, do just want to kind of reground us in what the series is. So it is an ongoing twice monthly learning series really designed to build over time. It's also grounded in the whole school, whole community, whole child framework, which really gives us a shared way to think about how systems can connect and wrap around children. We also want to make sure these sessions are interactive. So each session has a case-based approach, which really just allows for an environment where we can learn together and learn from one another. So we will have that in today's session as well. And also designed for multiple disciplines and perspectives. So our speakers today, Amanda and Monica, each bring their own perspective, and we will carry this throughout the remainder of the series. And finally, everything that we talk about in the series is really focused on real world practice and collaboration. So really want to make sure that you guys can take what you learn in each of these sessions back to your day-to-day work or life. Next slide, please. Super excited to get to introduce today's speakers. First, we have Amanda Ramsey. Amanda is a workforce development leader with more than 20 years of experience helping individuals and communities build pathways to education, employment, and long-term economic success as special projects managers for workforce services at the Kansas Department of Commerce. Excuse me, lost my spot there for a second. There we go. Amanda leads statewide initiatives, including the employment transition model and ticket to work that strengthen partnerships across education, workforce, healthcare, and community systems to improve employment outcomes for Kansans. Throughout her career, Amanda has worked across adult education, nonprofit leadership, and public service to expand access to opportunities for youth and adults. Her previous roles as basic skills coordinator at Highland Community College and executive director of the Atchison Adult Learning Center focused on supporting learners through high school completion and technical education, career transitions, family literacy, and workforce readiness. She is especially passionate about creating practical, person-centered approaches that connect education, work, and community support. Amanda brings expertise in workforce innovation, program development, and cross-sector collaboration, and is committed to helping communities create inclusive systems where individuals can thrive. Amanda also holds a Master of Science in Human Resource Development, a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Industrial Design, a certification in Community Work Incentives Counseling, and a certificate in Public Management from the University of Kansas. So thank you so much for joining us, Amanda. Super excited to have you. We are also joined by Monica Cohen. Monica is a career coach with the Kansas Workforce One and joined the ETM team in August of 2024. After a rewarding career teaching preschool, Monica decided to expand her impact by helping young people prepare for successful futures through workforce development. In her role, Monica assists youth with disabilities ages 14 to 24 in securing paid work experiences of up to 400 hours. She provides individualized mentoring before and throughout their employment, teaches workshops that build workplace readiness and life skills, and leads the Teamwork Summer Program, helping younger participants develop the confidence and skills that they need before entering the workforce. Monica is passionate about empowering youth of all ages to reach their full potential. She has a special place in her heart for youth with disabilities, inspired by her own experience raising and guiding her son, who also has a disability. Watching him grow into a hardworking and compassionate young man has strengthened her commitment to helping other young people build confidence, develop valuable skills, and achieve their goals. When Monica's not working, she enjoys spending time with her family, caring for her pets, and tending to her beautiful flower garden. So thank you so much, Monica, for joining us today. Super excited to have you here as well. Next slide, please. So just a quick overview on our session. Today, we will explore how employment contributes to overall health and well-being of young people. The session will also highlight how individuals with disabilities can achieve employment success with the right supports and accommodations. And we'll also get an overview from Monica on the career coach role in the process of supporting youth with disabilities and exploring and obtaining employment opportunities. And as I mentioned, the series is based in the WISC model. So for today's session, we will be focused on community involvement. Next slide, please. All right, so before I hand it over to our presenters, just quickly want to review our learning objectives for today. So by the end of the session, you should be able to identify how employment can serve as a health outcome for youth. You'll also be able to recognize key employment supports that are available to youth with disabilities. You'll be able to describe the role of career coaches in connecting youth with disabilities and employers, and you will explore strategies to help youth prepare for successful employment. Finally, you will also be able to identify supports and resources available to employers who hire youth with disabilities. I will also say we also have a lovely employer panel that has joined us today that's going to get to share their experiences and answer a few questions for us. So super excited to have you all here as well. I know Monica will do some great introductions for you here in just a little bit. So with that, we can go ahead and go to the next slide, and I'll hand it over to Amanda to get us started.
Thank you so much for having us, Haley. Just to get started, generally when we think about health outcomes for young people, we often think about things like medical care, mental health services, nutrition, housing, or access to transportation. While these factors are important, one factor is frequently overlooked, and that's employment. For youth with disabilities, meaningful employment is more than a paycheck. Employment influences physical health, mental well-being, social connectedness, financial security, identity development, and long-term quality of life. Today, I want to explore the idea that employment itself is a health outcome and discuss how the employment transition model that we've created with a special grant from the Department of Labor is testing out some of the strategies for working with youth with disabilities to help them secure independent futures. Research consistently demonstrates that employment is associated with improved outcomes across multiple areas of life. Young adults who work are more likely to report stronger self-esteem and confidence, experience a greater social inclusion and community participation, build routines and life skills that support well-being and resilience, increase financial stability while reducing long-term poverty, and develop stronger problem-solving skills as well as communication skills while experiencing improvements in mental health and life satisfaction. Employment also, to the flip side, helps them stay involved in a daily structured routine. There is a purpose to what they're doing on a day-to-day basis. When somebody is depending on you, it adds a level of motivation, I think, to complete things. And then obviously that confidence and self-efficacy over time. Now, for youth with disabilities, these benefits can be even more significant because employment can interrupt a pattern of isolation, dependency, and low expectations that too often begin early on in their life. Yet, despite these benefits, young people with disabilities continue to experience lower employment rates and reduced access to work-based learning, as well as fewer opportunities for career experiences. As we move to the next slide, we'll talk about the challenges. Youth with disabilities often face barriers that have little to do with their abilities and much more to do with the systems around them. Too often, low expectations limit opportunities before a young person even has the chance to demonstrate what they can achieve. Many youth have limited access to employment services like career exploration and meaningful work-based learning experiences that they need to gain to be competitively employed in our society. As they transition from high school to adult, to the handoff between these systems is even more confusing to navigate as we get into additional services that may provide one piece of the puzzle, but they may need additional supports provided by other organizations, making it difficult to access those services in a way that is seamless and can really bring in the support or service they need at the right time. Many people also struggle to access some of those other things we mentioned earlier, like health access and community services that are necessary for them to be employed. Transportation is especially difficult in not only the rural communities, but our metro areas as well. Um, Another concern for those who are relying on um, Social Security benefits and medical care, there's often concerns that going to work will reduce or make them lose those benefits. Um, Compounding all of these challenges is a lack of clear expectation or and clear information about how these things all interrelate and how a young person can achieve their goals. Um, it was really interesting. This week, I was able to visit some of our local programs, and just in the short period of time this summer, some of the participants have really made great strides in what they are able to do for themselves and what they know about work and financial literacy. And it was really quite amazing to think about the fact that a lot of young people are really ready to make those strides if given the right opportunities. So the real challenge we really experience is not the potential of our young people, but mostly how do we create systems that support that successful transition. Next slide, please. Some of the things we're testing through this employment transition model include um, an individualized plan that the young person is in charge of. They're self-directed. They make their own choices about what the goals are, what supports they want. We're including as much of the family in those conversations as possible, and really even doing some individualized outreach to parents with youth with disabilities. We wanting to connect them as early as possible, as young as age 14, to early and meaningful work experiences. And then we are working with our local schools to coordinate some of those services based on what the transition teams think is the right path to go. Additionally, we have um, supportive services that help them get transportation, uniforms, other things that they might need to be successful at work. And if we can't provide it, we're trying to coordinate that service with another community member or community resource. Um, and then the access to appropriate healthcare as well as the employer engagement, which Monica is going to speak more specifically to in her presentation. Next slide,
Yes.
please. That's perfect. Monica is a career coach in our
Yes.
employment transition model, and she does it all. And so I'm just going to turn it over her to talk about her real world experience with the project, working with youth, working with families, and working with employers.
Sure. Sure. Thanks, Amanda. Hi, everyone. My name is Monica Kane, and I'm from Garden City. I am the career coach with Kansas Workforce One. I've been here almost 2 years, and it's been such a rewarding career for me. Like I said, I really enjoy helping kids with disability find um, work that they really enjoy, what they want to do, earn money, get excited about it. So I'm going to talk about what I do as a career coach. Um, I also have a partner who helps me in the program. She does more of the administrative side, and I'm the one that does more of the teaching of workshops, career engagement, meeting employers, job shadowing is something we also try to promote in the program. So when you get a variety of ages of youth in our program that don't really have any experience working, we really try to promote the job shadowing so they can just observe and see what the job duties are, what it entails. Is this something that they'd be interested in? So, what we do in our program, we find youth a paid work experience up to 400 hours with supports. So, I'm always visiting the youth on the job. I help them prepare with work readiness skills prior to working and on the job. Um, and what our program does is we find them a job that they want to do. It's not what's available, where employers are needing help. It's what they want to do. So we would never place a youth, let's say at Subway, if they have no interest in doing fast food. It's all about what the youth wants to do. So prior to getting them ready for work, I'm also teaching them workshops. Like I said, I just got done teaching our 6-week summer TeenWorks program, and that's geared towards the younger youth in the program, 14 to 16-year-olds. We teach a variety of subjects such as career readiness, positive mental health, health and nutrition, um, employer expectations, self-advocacy, just a variety of skills that they can put in their toolbox per se. So when they start working, they have an idea of where they can use these goals. And like I said, there's always support. My coworker and I are cross-trained in both areas. So while I was teaching the TeenWorks program, a lot of the time, she was going and filling in for me with youth working, so they still have that support. Um, we also teach a variety of other workshops called financial literacy, social media safety, a lot of career exploration and career success. When we do find our youth a paid work experience, they still go through an interviewing process. So the employer gets to interview them, ask them questions just like they would if they were hiring someone. Um, so I help them kind of prepare for that. Introducing themselves, we practice elevator speeches. And if they're not very verbal, they can still shake hands. We never disclose what a youth's disability is. We just keep it uh, plain and simple like that. We provide youth with disabilities a paid work experience. So we hope that in turn, when the 400 hours are over, that employer will hire the youth because they already have 400 hours of work experience and they know how to do the job. So that is our goal. Um, we've had some great success stories with that as well, where they were hired after the 400 hours was up. So that's been very rewarding. If you do follow our Facebook page, Kansas Workforce One, I try to promote a lot of success stories on our page with that, and you can connect that way. Um, we also are helping to clarify career goals. um, we work with what's called the SDCDM, which is a self-determined career design model. And that is something that I work on with goal setting. Maybe their goal is just to find work, develop work skills. So we identify how we're going to get there. What are some barriers in the way that could stop us? Um, Also, with some of my youth that are not verbal, they have been able to draw pictures for me to answer those questions. What's important? What are your work duties? How do you succeed on the job? What do you like about your job? It's been really neat to break through some of those communication barriers that way. So for me, having them draw some pictures have always been helpful as well. With Workforce One, we also have an online program called Conover, and that teaches work readiness to the skills. It gives them videos to watch if you're not familiar with that program, and the kids can pass each video with skill development, be able to answer small quizzes. There's an adapted version for youth with disabilities, so it is shorter, and all the kids can earn certificates through that. Um, each section, we have 3 sections on there: job readiness, job seeking, and job keeping. And we end up paying a stipend for them to finish this online program. So there's a little incentive with that. Um, our youth that begin working are learning work ethic and soft skills to be successful on the job. Teaching the youth to admit a mistake can be hard. It can be hard for anybody. I try to provide that support in all areas of workforce that they're working at. Just learning to be accountable for their actions is a big step in their development. I always encourage the youth to be treated like everyone else. They're part of the staff, they're part of the team. We also help provide work boots or uniforms if needed, as part of joining in with the workforce. Um, Let's see. Communication is always key. So from the get-go, it's always important to develop a connection with the youth, find something they're interested in that you can build from. Communicating with parents is always important as well. Just sharing those successes that the youth is doing on the job is great. They can provide more positive praise at home for their youth. So whenever I visit, I'm always trying to point out something good that the youth has done, because usually there's a lot of things we can work on, but I want them to know that what they're doing is important and it's valued. So I always try to find something special that they've done really well. We connect people to resources and opportunities that promote growth. It gives them more opportunities to receive additional services such as voc rehabilitation, mental health services, and case management. Families Together is our one of our partner agencies. So a lot of times parents do not realize when they're child turns 18 that they are an adult. And so I can help direct maybe support to Families Together, which they can talk about guardianship opportunities, as well as any other questions that they might need answered that we may not have the answers to. We also provide information to our benefits specialist in the program. If kids are receiving SSI, it's kind of important to know how their benefits might be affected or any questions or concerns that they might have. We have a variety of connecting partners that all can help the youth with these connecting agencies. Assessing work tasks and development and tools and solutions for success on the job usually takes place a week or two. We help with any accommodations or modifications, such as checklist, either verbal or just picture oriented, that can help the youth on the job develop their routines. Um, Anything that can help them. We're always connecting, talking to, visiting with the employer as well. What do you think would help the youth? What would you like to see done? Just a lot of back and forth communication is important. It helps them feel like they are part of their work plan, that their voice matters, and we all want the same goal. Next slide, please. So in practice, I'm going to talk about assessing skills, interests, and strengths. So like I said, it's very important for the youth to be involved in the decision-making process. When we start our first initial enrollment, we are getting referrals brought in or sent to us. That can come from the community, it can come from the school district, it can come from youth services, just a variety of ways. Like I said, we're not looking to fill any positions on the job sites. I always like to call it an added bonus of help, not free labor. Um, and like I said, we put them where the youth would like to work. So if we have trouble, let's say, getting into Walmart, but I dig deeper trying to find out why do you want to work there? What fascinates you? If it's stocking, then we might do a job shadow at Dillon's, who partners with us, and see if they like that. So that's kind of some of the process we look for is just really getting to know them, what they want to do. Also, we discuss short-term, long-term goals, what potentially what they would like their life to look like. And that can be a variety of ways that that is done. It's either goal setting or just drawing pictures and doodling. Getting them to open up and talk to you is so important. Um, some of the kids in our program know exactly what they want to do. They know where they want to go to college. They want to know where they want to go to tech school. Other kids are just, living in the moment. They just want to work. They want to graduate high school, which is such a great goal. So wherever they are is where we are trying to help them. Number two, discussing potential next steps, developing workplace readiness skills, job shadowing, work experience, providing information about community resources. Um, so when we have our first initial meeting with enrollment, I make a second appointment with the youth and their family. And when they come to the second appointment, I'm inviting them to join a Teams meeting, and I'm introducing our benefits specialist as well as the staff with families together. Let me see. Number three, our coordination with Chase to support well-being and self-advocacy skills. Our partner agency, Families Together, helps to offer youth and their families additional support. Families Together can help the parents with their questions, while the CHASE program is designed to be an 8-week program that helps the youth identify some goals, proper nutrition, anything like that. And they as well get a stipend for completing the 8-week program. I believe they get Amazon gift cards. So there's incentives for that. Number four, job site supports and self-assessment. Our job site supports consist of any accommodations to help the youth be successful, as well as the job site to be successful. We not only want the youth to be successful, it's also the employer's business. They have a business to maintain and run. We want it to be beneficial on both parts. If a youth is struggling to accomplish some goals, clearly I will meet with the goal. We can find out what the problem is. Maybe we need to slow down a little bit and figure out how to get through one goal at a time, and how are they going to be successful. Let's see, things to work on is just keeping things positive. Support with long-term goals. Again, if they need help with internships, anything like post-secondary options, we can help them with that. And also following up with an employer when I visit is very important, just to make sure that everything is going well for the employer as well as the youth. Next slide, please.
Monica, I know in the interest of time, I know we've still got a few
Yes,
slides to go through, but I know we also have the employer panel. So I wonder maybe if you want
sure.
to take the next 2 minutes or so to talk about how you work with the employers. And then we do have another slide for tips for working with employers that we can send out afterwards that people will still be able to access.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. So working with employers, like I said, is important to build a connection with them as well, providing education and information to support hiring youth with disabilities. We explain our program and how there's always going to be support to them. But our clear goal is for them to be independent and work and know what they are doing on the job. We match abilities and interests with the youth, set clear expectations, encourage regular planned communication. So we can always do check-ins with the employers. Um, Employers have been gracious enough to provide us tours at the beginning, maybe before job shadowing is implemented, conducting interviews, they do supervision, any training is encouraged, and corrective action plans. Like I said, we want our youth to be treated like everyone else, so that's important. Support supervisors and employers are willing to learn new ways of communicating and providing supervision for successful job completion. Um, and this is also good for some supervisors to know communication styles. How do they communicate with the youth? What works best? And we all want to recognize their strengths. Next slide, please. So tips for assisting youth with employment goals, relationships matter. We want to develop trust, be honest, learning respect on both parties, provide opportunities to experience a variety of jobs and careers, communicate expectations clearly, recognize growth and accomplishments, and find the right resources for the end. I do have examples of youth that might have had struggling behavior. Lots of encouragement is given, finding what supports are needed for the youth on the job, talking to the employer. What is your duties that you're needing done the soonest? How can we all get there together? Also, it's in supporting the youth. How can we reach these goals? Maybe it's reenacting how to communicate to each other, suggesting different work studies to learn your job better. Next slide, please. So today I'd like to introduce three employers that I have had the pleasure of working with through our program. They support Connect Y and have been a great addition to our program. I have Esther Pina, the director with Garden Academy Early Learning Center. I have Patrick Hurd, the director of Downtown Vision here in Garden City. And then I have Joe Hopkins, the director of Finney County Transit. Next slide, please. So I will be asking the employers some discussion questions. Hi, Esther. Are you ready for your question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you for joining us.
No problem.
When you first considered partnering with Kansas Workforce One to create a work experience for a young person with a disability, what questions or concerns came to mind?
I think initially just how they would fit into our working environment. We have, a lot of young ones running around, so also safety was also a factor. I thought about things like, well, would we get somebody maybe with an impulsive temper or, just those concerns, just the overall idea. But I had a lot of alleviation in the support from you, Monica, because all my worries, I was able to just communicate with her, and she was like, "No, I wouldn't, set up anybody to work here that had an impulsive temper or could, sacrifice safety." So that was a really, really big factor for me is just having that support. Um, and then they just also like trying to create a list that was like you guys said, a meaningful work duty list. So, and not just trying to, oh, let's just figure out something for them to do. But, for us, that became easy because, the the one that we do have, he loves to clean, he loves to do outdoor maintenance, and it is so hard to figure out who's going to do the mowing this week or who could volunteer, so it just worked out really, really well for us. Just along the lines of our foundational needs of health and safety and cleanliness, sanitation, keeping the grounds clean for the kids. So it's just worked out really well.
Great. Thanks, Esther.
Mhm.
I will go to question 2 with Patrick. Based on your experience, how can employment positively impact the lives of youth with disabilities? Think you're on mute, Patrick. I do that all the time.
Oh, sorry. Uh, no, I think with this job, it's such a unique because we do everything. We're just a two-man operation basically with the board. But we do HR, we do social economic growth of the community. But I think it lets them be a part of the community. If that makes sense, working here lets them be a part of the community and actually have some influence on where we go. Whether it's events, just recently, our youth that we had, we were talking about Fall Fest coming up, and they made the comment that, well, sometimes it's really hard for a wheelchair person to get over one of our electrical cords. So we would have never thought of that, honestly. And that's a great impact. Like, okay, how do we, because unless you live that life, I don't think you know that life. Does that make sense? And so it's just, it just been, our youth, it's been so fun watching her get out and blossom because we do so much personal interaction and we also do the financial part, and we're finding what she likes. I always tell her it's like follow your passion,
Mhm.
whatever you're passionate about. So we talk a lot, and she's very eager to be in the conversations, which is great. And I think it impacts her because she's starting to feel part of
Yes.
something.
Thanks, Patrick.
Uh-huh.
I'll go to question 3. Hi, Joe. Thanks for being here. Um, what role can employers play in creating more inclusive workplaces for youth with disabilities?
That one's a challenge for us specifically because we run buses, and buses are there's no way around it. The buses are big vehicles; they need special care, special tools. So we've had to implement different ways of doing things, implement different ways of what we use to get jobs done. It's benefited us, making us think out of the box to make it work for the person. Fortunately, Monica's been great about not giving us somebody who obviously can't climb a ladder and can't hold on to something. It's that's the hard part about what we do. And the benefit, what we do is really kind of boring. Washing buses is not a good time. It's not fun. But we've had kids that really want to, who take some pride and make sure it's clean. Monica's not expecting this, but the second guy that we had, he did a great job, kind of. But we worked with him a little bit to kind of get him ready, to kind of get him to move on. And he didn't work with us. So why did I bring that up? Because I ran into him the other day at a different job, smile on his face, happy, willing to be there. He said, "Thanks for taking me in." I didn't expect that from him, but it worked for him. So because of that, that makes the whole thing that much easier, that much better for everybody involved.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing for everybody to see and to do, and it brings out a lot of, like I said, thinking outside the box, find a way to make things work, find a way to make the challenges. It's different when we see something that we take for granted. somebody else doesn't. And to meet that challenge a different way is just that puzzle alone is fun for me, because that means I got to think about it differently. So it's a good thing all the way around. It makes everybody think different ways. It's enjoyable that way.
So, Joe, question 4, what supports, training, or resources would help employers feel more confident recruiting, hiring, onboarding, and retaining youth with disabilities?
That's a tough question, because I don't know if there's anything you can train. It's something that you kind of have to see it. You have to be around it. We think of it because we're here and we have it. Um, when we first started, the very first person we brought on, the very first kid we brought on, everybody thought, "Man, I don't know what you're doing, Joe. I don't know if it's going to work or not." But by being around, by seeing, I think, as beneficial as it is to have people talk, it's so much better to see.
Yeah.
So if it's something that, if you want to get other people involved in it, if they can come in and see it. I mean, as you know, Finney County Transit is a good example. We're publicly funded, so everything we do is open to anybody and everybody. You can see it. All I got to do is walk by and ask. We took Kansas Workforce One on a tour. We took some other kids from the assisted learning center that teaches GEDs and stuff like that. We took them on a tour, so they understand what it is. But if they can see it happen, they can see around it. I think it's just getting your eyes on it to see that happen. It's a difficult thing to train, because you can't train feelings. But if you see it and you feel it, you know why it's good.
Yep. Thank you, Joe. Question 5, Esther. What advice would you give to another employer who's considering hiring a young person with a disability for the first time?
I honestly, I would say to just look at it from a very human view, because and not make assumptions about what they can't do, because I think that's a stigma. Um, all of us go into new things and don't know what to do. So just considering that, you might have to, tweak the way that you train or have a different type of patients for other people. Luckily for me, I work in daycare, so we have all the patients everywhere.
Yeah.
So that's not foreign for us. But just to take the time to get to know them. And I really love how this program is really laced nicely together, because part of knowing what their strengths are and what responsibilities to give them, doesn't even have to be all up to you, because I mean, Monica, you help us with that from the beginning. So it matters to just not put that stigma on these kids and to give them that chance. It's no different than any young person coming into the workforce anyways. We have a different generation, and it just takes time and effort, and it's worth it, because you see the impact in their lives. You see that they feel important, they feel pride. I mean, we have the kids that we have employed here on our birthday wall, so they're just very well correlated with our staff anyways, and it's just a very community-based situation, family to have. So
Thank you, Esther. Patrick, we'll do our last question. Can you share a success story about a young person you've worked with through Connect Y and what made that experience meaningful for your organization?
Absolutely. I kind of spoke about it earlier with the ability for wheelchairs to go over electrical lines that go, but there's other things. I'm a boomer. I own that. I'm a baby boomer, so we have our own way of thinking of things. And then Leandro, who is my partner here, he's somewhere late millennial, but this gives us a whole different view of what's important to the youth today. And so sometimes we get a little bit, blinders on. We're like, oh, this works, this works, this works. But it's always good to hear their perspective on it. Like, what would I like to see? What would the people I like to see want to do? So it's really helped us reshape even our kids activity in Fall Fest this year. We're going to go with simply bubbles. The kids area is going to have bubbles because kids love bubbles. Would we have ever thought of that? I don't know. But you ask, these people like, oh, what do your little brothers or little sisters or whatever it is? I don't know. They always like bubbles. We're like, okay, let's incorporate bubbles. Maybe that's a fun activity for kids in the Fall Fest area. And it's really it's just really been a great thing. I think it's been meaningful for both myself and Leandro to just try to help somebody find their passion, I guess. So, and we're really crazy about giving her multiple different tasks and see what she kind of goes toward, because there's going to be things that she doesn't maybe personally like to do, but she tries it.
Yeah.
And so we go, and then we just kind of try to find her wheelhouse or whatever we are, and just kind of give her more of that.
Mhm.
And it's just been great for us, and it's helped us. I think it's helped her being able to go out, whether it's taking pictures of businesses. She wrote a story for us. We do a lot of stories about community people. She went through and wrote a story, and we proofread it and all that, but it was just a different kind of viewpoint on it. So I thought it was really important for that. It's been great for us. So thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. Next slide, please.
I just want to say thank you so much, Patrick, Joe, and Esther. Hearing you guys share your experiences, and even the challenges that have come up, I think is so impactful. And I've just loved being able to have you all today. So thank you so much for joining us. And Monica, thank you for coordinating all of that.
Sure.
We are going to move into the kind of the case discussion portion where we're going to ask you guys to kind of think through these two questions. So Amanda will talk us through. Please feel free to respond in the chat, or if you would like to come off of mute, and then I'll invite the entire group with the employers as well. If you have any like tips or just kind of your experiences you'd like to share along the way, please feel free.
So how do you feel you can advocate within your organization or community for expanding employment opportunities for youth with disabilities?
No, it takes a second to write in the chat, so don't be shy. You can also come off of mute if you'd like to share.
Mhm.
Or maybe if there are specific questions that you guys have of like, maybe that's a question is I'm not sure how to advocate, maybe needing some other ideas. We can always talk through that as well, but would love to hear from you all. Patrick's got a good one. He said just the fact that other employers get the opportunity to see how it works within our organization. Patrick, feel free to say more on that as well if you'd like. Melissa shared that she would love to hear maybe some examples of what you all are already doing to advocate for different employment activities. I know, Monica, I'm sure you do a lot of that in your position as career coach too. So maybe just talking through that.
Mhm. Yes, so as we do the enrollment process on our first day, meeting the family and the youth, or maybe it's just the youth, depends on what it is. We are finding out again, what they want to do, what are they capable of doing, and then we go and talk to those employers. We're able to tell them, I have a youth that would really love to help be part of the team. He has weed eater experience. He loves to mow. He loves to be outdoors. He can pick up trash. This is what he loves to do. Would you be willing to hear more about our program? So it's all goal oriented.
Yeah, and I would love Monica to, and thank you for that response. It really is what you all are doing is incredibly inspiring, and thank you also to the employers for being here. It's really special to be able to hear from you, I think, in this context and offering your perspective and just being so honest about it.
Mhm.
So, Monica, I'm wondering, from your perspective, what do employers do in your experience to also help those kids be successful? So, like, kind of advice that you would give them based on, these are examples,
Um,
because I bet you come across them all the time of like, oh
yeah.
wow, they're already doing this, or they're doing this one thing that we talk about, but in a different way that totally makes sense in that employment context that we would have never thought of.
Really, it's just all individualized, whatever the kid can do, or what are they working towards their goal, really. If some are wanting to build social skills or maybe develop some of their creativity, that's where Patrick has helped us with the youth because we knew she was worth so much more potential. And so with Downtown Vision, they are promoting Garden City. They are active in the community. She was able to help create a brochure for other businesses in the community. It's just enhancing on those skills, talking to the employer about what they can do to help support us, as well as helping this youth develop their career goals.
Yeah, no, so that, I mean, that's lovely. So the willingness to see every
Yeah.
human as a distinct human,
Yes.
the willingness to think out of the box, as Joe was
Yes.
saying, and a lot of back and forth conversation around how to, and it's problem solving process, right? But
Yes.
having the people at
Yes.
the table and then including the youth too, like
Yes.
bonus points across the board. So no,
Yeah.
that's super helpful. I could listen to you all talk about examples of this stuff all day long,
Hmm.
just so you know.
Yeah, it's so rewarding when they are doing so well, or if you could see where they started to where they are actually hired in that
Right.
employment setting is just wonderful.
Yeah. And then that story, Joe, about the follow-up from a friend who you had worked with. And I mean, not every case looks like a success, especially right off the bat, but then that
Sure.
longer term, because sometimes I think any of us just need to get to a place where we can better understand where we are and to look back
Yeah.
and be like, oh, this was helpful,
Yes.
regardless of what kind of experience it was. So no, I really appreciate this work and all these examples. And I'll be quiet because there's lots of good stuff happening.
Well, I'd like to interject something. I was going to talk about this and I didn't, but I don't know if you can see it. But this is actually one of the flyers that Emily helped us create, which is actually the downtown area and the businesses that are down here that we've partnered up with the Marriott for people to come explore downtown. She was very interactive with helping us create that. Everything from finding the businesses, the information, to actually help position it and cut it. I mean, just even some of it was simple tasks, but whether it's trifolding, all that. But she was super helpful in that, and that's kind of her wheelhouse. So we kind of put her on that project, like just go, like we trust you, go. Let's see what you got at the end. So we kind of just we turn her loose with some things, and then we obviously look at it when she's done and say, well, let's tweak this, let's tweak that, let's tweak that. But we're trying to give her a sense of just doing things on her own, if that makes any kind of sense. So sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt, but I was going to
No,
talk
no,
about
no.
that and I didn't.
Yeah.
And then Monica brought it up anyway. But yeah, no, that sense of independence, right? And also just the idea of trying to match one of these young friends to an employment opportunity where the goal is to build creativity
Yes.
so that she can better consider her potential. Like,
Yeah.
what? That's amazing,
Yeah. I
right?
guess
Like, I mean,
I'm
that's
always, yeah, pushing
super cool.
these
This isn't even just,
youth.
a technical skill, which is also super important. But like these are like broader. I mean, this is social emotional learning. It's all of those pieces. So well done. Cheers.
I know we did have quite a few responses in the chat too, so I'm going to try to run through some of those. Let's see. Christina said maybe connecting the youth with working healthy reps so families can understand how employment may impact benefits to reduce their concerns. I know that's not something we talked about a lot today, but something Monica and Amanda, you and I had a chance to discuss. So I think that's a good idea in terms of advocating. Allison also shared maybe starting small could be a successful path for those just emerging on opportunities for expanding access. So maybe what's something I can do this week or this month to move us forward towards that larger goal. So I imagine, Monica, you do a lot of that with the youth that you're working on.
Yes.
To...
And it can start slow as just developing soft skills of getting to work on time. If they don't drive, then how do we communicate to your transportation when your schedule of work? I mean, it can be very slow, but very beneficial at the beginning, and then see them take off is just so rewarding.
And we've got a lot of responses, not a ton of time left. So I'm going to read just a few more, and then we may save our other question for you guys to think on after the session. Joe, I really appreciated what you said in the chat, just being honest about seeing kids smile, especially when those kids are rarely told someone is proud of them. Really appreciate you sharing that, and just super impactful to hear. Kind of even just simply sharing that with other organizations may make them more open to employing a youth. Right. So I think in the interest of time, I think we want you to continue to think about what you can do in your current role to support a youth with a disability. And I'd love to hear from you all if you think of something afterwards you'd like to share, or just kind of bounce ideas off of us and the other team members that have joined. Would love to hear from you all. So just keep thinking on that. And I think we can go ahead and move on to the next slide.
So I wanted to give you all some resources for additional services and supports for youth. Not only youth with disabilities, but some of the programs just serve youth with barriers to employment. And great job, I included Working Healthy in there for you. And then another great resource that we refer to often is the Job Accommodation Network. If you haven't checked that out, there are a lot of very work-related accommodations. They provide one-on-one technical assistance to employers. They also provide it to individuals. So lots of resources for you. I don't think, I mean, to be quite honest with you, if you had a question about how to help someone navigate some of these resources, I would encourage you to give myself a call, or even, I'm sure Monica would help you too. She's kind of an expert there in the Garden City area for sure. But we'd be happy to help you get started if you needed assistance.
I've got those links in the chat. We will send them out to you afterwards as well. So don't worry if you can't grab them for the time being. Next slide, please.
So we just want to close today with a few key messages from our presentation. Many young adults can work with the right support. Like I said, it's getting to know them, build that connection, find out what they want to do, and let their voice be heard. Job coaches, I'm a career coach, help youth and young adults be successful, become independent on the job while working with employers, coworkers, and supervisors. Providing real-world opportunities to experience different careers early on is so important. There are resources to help families and youth try work and develop short and long-term career goals, gain those skills they need, and navigate those services. Next slide, please.
All right, so I just want to say thank you again so much, Monica and Amanda, Patrick, Esther, and Joe as well. I think having you all on to share your experiences, and then Amanda and Monica sharing your expertise as well, has been super beneficial. So just thank you all again for taking the time to get on with us. I do want to give you all an opportunity to share some feedback with us. So we have a very brief survey. You can either scan the QR code on the screen, or I just dropped the link in the chat. I'll send that in the follow-up email as well. But this is really your time to kind of share your thoughts and experiences for today's session and our speakers. Next slide, please. And then just want to highlight our next session in the series is going to take place on August 12th at 9 a.m. We will be discussing how to support adolescents through adversity. So we'd love to have you join us. Our very own Allison Hilton will be one of the presenters, along with Gwen O'Brien, talking through this important topic. As for today's session, like I mentioned, you will get a follow-up email, including a link to that feedback survey. It'll have a copy of the slides, the resources that Monica and Amanda shared with us, and a link to the recording. So really just want to say thank you all for joining us today. We really appreciated your time and engagement in the chat, and definitely look forward to seeing you next time on August 12th. So thank you guys so much. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.